While we're waiting for a couple of people to get in the room, I wanted to congratulate Elizabeth, Brandon, and Jake on a great job at the Broadband Summit. If you missed it, they were phenomenal and did excellent jobs of moderating and presenting. So thank you on behalf of all of us. So we really appreciated it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was great to have everyone in attendance.
Yeah, I'll echo that. And I'll thank you specifically, David, and our other team leads who helped us out. David sat on a panel with us, Matt Creedle, James Ritchie, and Sandra Guffey from Marion Putnam and DeSoto. We had a really, really great discussion with them about LTPT, sort of the futures of the initiative, where we can go next, how we can, make sure that we get everyone covered. So I believe that those recordings are on the Florida channel. I'm not sure if those ones got broadcast or not, but the conversations were really, really high quality. We had a great time seeing everyone there, really productive. So yeah, thanks again to everyone, and we'll sort of recap it a little later. But yes, thank you all.
Alrighty, well, thank you all for coming. I started the recording just a couple minutes ago. We don't have too much on the agenda today, but we'll go ahead and get started with an update on BEAD deployment. So as you all know, we asked the NTIA for an extension, which we were granted. So as of now, we are planning to submit our final proposal October 3rd, and we'll have the public comment period started 8 days before that. So it will be from September 26th to October 2nd. Obviously, we will send out an announcement, let everyone know once it is posted for public comment. And just as of now, we are working on our final recommendations for provisional awards. So that's where we're at with things. We will continue to keep you guys updated on that. Does anyone have any questions about our deployment update right now? I know Paul's not going to be on the call too long today, so if anyone has any technical questions that he might be able to answer. Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
Hi, Elizabeth. First of all, echoing what David said, just tremendous conference. But the numbers that Tanya presented in the morning at 9 a.m. On Friday, are those the numbers that you're at right now with the plan still? Or has anything changed in that regard?
We can double check those numbers. It should all be the same. I'll say that the numbers she presented are tentative and subject to change. We are still negotiating with providers, and we're still trying to finalize who exactly is going to end up serving what. The overall sort of application level counts and things like that will be accurate. In terms of, I think we talked about dollar figures and leverage presented and stuff like that. That's all tentative. That'll get clarified in the final proposal. It'll be pretty close. It might not be exactly one-to-one, but we're basically, I think, like I said, tentatively pretty close there. And then there's potential room for us to change a little bit there depending on what we hear back in the negotiation round.
But not in any huge way. You don't anticipate any huge shift
yeah, it'll be marginal in terms of changes, but like you said, it shouldn't be huge, and we'll let you know. We'll make sure that we get it out for public comment. But yeah, those numbers should be pretty close to what we put out for public comment in the coming weeks here.
Okay, then I'm rooting for your non-deployment funds to be approved. Then you could do a lot of good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We are definitely doing that as well.
All right, terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Peter. Does anybody else have any questions about our deployment update? Alrighty, I'm not seeing any hands raised or anything in the chat. Feel free to, of course, ask them throughout the meeting if you have anything, or email me after. Like I said, we'll continue to keep everyone updated as we progress with things. So for our next agenda item, already kind of mentioned, thank you for the shout out, David, we appreciate it. We had our broadband summit last week. It went very well. I think we had over or around 300 attendees. We got to meet a lot of you in person. That was great to put a name or a face to the name. During it, we had, as Jacob mentioned, our LTPT panel. That went great. I received a lot of
You got 10
compliments
seconds to take this call. 10, 9,
from our
8,
people.
7, 6.
I received a lot of compliments after. Like Jacob said, we talked about kind of the past, how things have gone, what some lessons through BOP and CPF have been learned from our LTPTs, and then what we're looking for in the future, where we're expecting LTPTs to go. Another thing that we had was our LTPT closed door session. I'm not sure. I think we had around 20 of our LTPTs that I'm aware of represented, and I'm not sure that everyone was able to make it to that, but it was just a breakfast session where we were able to meet each other in person and talk to each other. It went really well. That was great, productive conversation. From coming away from it, I would say what I took away was please don't hesitate to reach out to us, right? Or hop on these meetings, express your opinions, what your worries are, or what directions you feel we should be taking things. We had some of our LTPTs who were kind of just getting back into the swing of things, maybe had more of an inactive team before. Jacob and I are always happy to meet with anyone that needs any extra guidance or help. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us with anything you need. We're happy to attend meetings in person or hop on a Teams call with you just to see where we're at with things and what we can do to help you. But yeah, like I said, it was absolutely wonderful to meet everybody. Yeah,
And I
Jacob.
will, I'll expand on that even. I know one of the things that's really nice about that sort of closed door meeting is it, and about the summit in general, is that it sort of facilitates the networking from team to team. And I know that a lot of y'all are sort of in local government and have, certain constraints, and being able to, kind of interface with each other in that way is really nice. Even, making that connection to sort of see what best practices you've learned, what some things you've done, stuff like that. And I know that we've had a number of teams say that they would be willing to, sort of mentor almost, if you're not familiar, or if you're not don't have as much experience with the initiative or whatever. So like I said, if that's another thing that we can facilitate as well. If you need someone's contact information and say, I really like what they're doing in X county, and I'd like to get a little feedback on that, or attend one of their meetings and see how it goes. In our experience, everyone has always been very willing to facilitate and assist with that. So like I said, that's another thing. I'll echo what Elizabeth said. Summit was a really great event. I posted the Florida Channel recordings in the chat. So it's divided into two sections. I believe the LTPT panel was the second to last one. So it should be in part 2. I haven't seen those recordings, so I'm not 100% sure exactly where it's at, but I think if you want to catch that, it should be in part 2 somewhere. But all of the content was great. If you haven't seen it, we had a lot of really productive discussions about infrastructure, about BEAD, about sort of AI and like cutting edge technologies and new things, that will be moving forward on. A lot of really informative presentations. Like David said, Brandon did a presentation on our utility relocation reimbursement grant program that we'll be doing soon, and that went really well. There's more information in there. I think that'll be in part 1 would be my guess. And then yeah, like you said, Elizabeth hosted a really great panel for the LTPTs. So yeah, like I said, a lot of really great content, a lot of really informative stuff. Definitely encourage you to check it out. But that's all I got, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thanks, Jacob. And thanks for getting those in the chat. Like you said, you can go ahead and watch those. The agenda is posted on our main page of the website. So if you want to scroll through it and say, oh, this looked like it might have been a good presentation for me, it will show you approximately where it's going to be. The panel for the LTPTs is going to be on the 9/12. And once you click on that Florida channel link, you can just navigate down below and it'll show 9/11, 9/12 and go from there. But yeah, great panelist. It was amazing. And like you said, one of the biggest things we heard was the networking opportunities were plentiful. So glad to have everyone there, mingling, mixing with each other, making those connections that might be a little bit more difficult to do otherwise. So thank you guys that attended. It was awesome to have you there.
And I just posted a link to the agenda in the chat, and I will follow up with one last thing. If you're looking for slides or slide decks, feel free to reach out and let us know. Happy to provide any of those. And I'll say one last sort of plug here. We started off the summit with sort of a sort of story map presentation hybrid that was kind of interactive and had some GIS components that use some of the tools that our GIS team has developed. And that is one in particular that I would encourage you guys to check out. I think we have Josh on the call from our GIS team, but if not, we can work on getting you a link to that so you can click around. It has a lot of like I said, interactive tools, and I think is something that really does a really good job of telling the story of our office. So I'll just make, like I said, a plug for that. Check out, these GIS tools. They worked really hard on them, and they're really, really impressive.
Thank you, Josh, for posting those in the chat. Like Jacob said, very impressive, awesome to scroll through. Like it's a story map, right? It tells the story of broadband and what we've been working on with your guys' help. So great to share with anyone that might be able to use that as a resource. And the slide deck, we have our full slide deck. It's also posted under the agenda, but happy to send anything individually, like Jacob said, if anyone is looking for that. So just hop on the website if you're looking for those. But yeah, that's what I have for the summit. Does anyone have any feedback they'd like to share at the moment? Any questions regarding it? Alrighty, well, we will go ahead and move on to the LTPT only section of the call. So I'm going to go ahead and ask everyone that's not an LTPT member to go ahead and step off. Thank you for attending, and we will see you next month. All right, we'll just give it a minute to let everyone hop off. Okay, it looks like everyone's had the chance to hop off, so we can go ahead and move on to our LTPT section. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share? Any questions, comments on Summit, BEAD, anything else?
I've heard anecdotal commentary that the NTIA has sent back a whole bunch of state plans and asked them to rebid some areas. Is that something that we anticipate may happen, or do you know if that's just a silly rumor kind of thing?
I haven't heard anything about that specifically. I don't know if that's like in an article or if that's just like you said, rumors or whatever. I'd be curious to know more about it, and which states it were and sort of their situation. I'll say we've been monitoring what other states have been submitting with their final proposals. I think we're pretty confident with what we have. We had a sort of preliminary meeting called the Special Awards Condition meeting with the NTIA, where we sort of gave a high-level summary of what we plan to submit with our final proposal. And that meeting went very smoothly. And we heard that a lot of other states' meetings did not go so smoothly. So as far as what they're doing in other states, I can't really say. But like I said, we feel really good about what we have and what we're going to submit, and we'll see, and we'll certainly monitor the situation. Like I said, if you have, if you can provide a little bit more information about which states and what specifically got sent back in the rebid situation, like I said, that's not something that I've heard. So
Okay.
I can't speak to that specifically.
Okay, I'll do a double check. I have 3 states on my radar, so I'll double.
Okay.
One of the people who always responds to me did not respond to my questions. I think there's a little tension in a couple of the states.
I was going to say, sounds like kind of a sensitive situation.
Yeah.
But I would be curious to see how that plays out. But like I said, again, I think we feel very strongly about our process. We did it the right way, and we stand behind what we'll submit. So, like I said, we'll see what happens.
Yep. Well, silly opinion here, but yes, you certainly have done a great job. So thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, Peter, I agree with Jacob, but I have heard several states have had theirs returned to them, uh, looking to even lower the bid lower than they already had. Haven't heard about any results yet, and haven't really understood what amount they were looking for. They did kind of tell us during our SAC what amount we should be looking at.
Good.
But I don't think they deal in the real world. And we're looking at, I think the last updated cost model that they're using for Cost Quest about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, and there's been some significant increase in costs. And I don't think they've even taken into consideration that under the old plan, states would be rolling these things out kind of intermediary, right? There'd be a couple here and a couple of there. And now with the restructuring, almost everybody's going to start at the same time. So that will put a constraint on the supply chain, and that inherently increases costs. So I don't think they thought this thing completely through. I think they're looking at specifically reducing the cost regardless. But we'll see. We haven't heard anything back. Again, like Jacob said, we did have a positive meeting with the SAC for the SAC with NTIA. I don't know that really means anything because a lot of other states did too, and they still got pushback. So we'll see where we are. We'll keep you advised as we move through the process.
All right. Well, thank you for being so thorough, Paul. It's very appreciated. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for the question, Peter. Does anybody else have anything? Any questions, comments? Alrighty, well, thank you guys for hopping on the call today. And thanks again to everyone that was at the summit. I see Saunders on the call. She did a great job as a panelist. David did as well. He didn't mention it. He was on a panel with NVIDIA, but I would say he was the best panelist on there.
Thank you. It
Thank
was
you.
a
2
blast.
thumbs
I
up.
enjoyed it. Thanks.
Yeah, Sandra, you were great. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it was a little intimidating to be on stage with NVIDIA, Spectrum, and then me. I'm like, oh. So no, it was fine, and I appreciated the opportunity, and you guys did a great job of moderating that type of thing. And now that I'm speaking, I'm going to quickly just ask a question. I've gotten some feedback from maybe some of our local providers that there may be an opportunity to expand upon the areas that they had originally submitted for this round of deployment. Is that accurate? Did not know if there's still some negotiation there between the providers who may have picked overlapping, or that there may be some that we're trying to get additional coverage for. But just kind of gotten a little bit of wind about that and did not know. Back to kind of Peter's point, sometimes there's the rumor mill produces a lot more than the actuality of the situation.
So essentially, yes, the long and short of it is yes. Basically, we had, our initial sort of bid, application window, providers bid on things, and then we had certain, areas that didn't get bids, or we had sort of a patchwork, and so we kind of returned to providers in certain areas and kind of said, hey, your bid here is close, but we think that the total dollar figure would put us over the NTIA's limit. Can you come down on this? Or for example, I know we sort of would also have the leeway to say, like, for example, if you were provisionally awarded in this area, would you then be able to serve some of these other areas? Sort of things like that, to get some of these fringe cases that perhaps were not included or excluded in provider speed applications. So yes, there were some opportunities for that. Again, sort of to Peter's point initially, that's sort of to fill in the gaps. It's not going to represent anything huge. It's not going to represent like, massive swings or changes to the way that we do things. Like I said, we were just trying to make sure that we get everyone covered as close to 100% as humanly possible. So that's sort of what we're doing. And again, we will detail the specifics of that and how that all played out in our final proposal, which we'll submit to y'all for public comment here in the next coming weeks here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Alrighty, well, thank you everyone for getting on today. It was great to have this meeting and see everybody at the summit that attended. Our next meeting is going to be October 16th, so we'll have a final proposal posted, like Jacob said, for public comment in between then, and of course we'll notify everybody of that so you all can go ahead and look at it. But yeah, thank you for everybody joining today. We will see you next month.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.